Neil, how you doing? Just a quick injury update. How did everyone return from the international break?
No fresh injury worries. Near Beaton is, feeling a little bit sore in the knee, so it's being assessed as we speak. Apart from that, everyone has returned. So it's only Maggie Johnson really who's sort of still a long-term casualty. Tom Rodgick started training today, and Griffiths is still doing a little bit of fitness work, and hopefully he'll be available for the upcoming games.
With the international break, have you had time to reflect on the start of the season, the start of the campaign? How do you assess your first few games?
I don't think we've really hit top form yet, but that's understandable. It's been a bit sort of stop-start, but yeah, I'm pretty pleased in the main with our performances. Obviously, the sore one is losing out in the Champions League. The performance was fine. We should have won the game, but overall, I've been pretty satisfied, and now we're looking to get into a block of games, between now and the next international break, where hopefully we'll really find our consistency.
2 St Mirren players tested positive for coronavirus. Obviously, you have them midweek. Are you concerned that your game with them may be off? Obviously, you've got Ross County the weekend, but have you heard anything about your game on Wednesday?
No, well, I mean, we're under the assumption that, St Mirren game goes ahead tomorrow, and then, our game will go ahead on Wednesday.
I just wanted your personal thoughts finally, Neil, on it. Do you think if there are 2 players out with coronavirus, 3 players, do you think that the game still should go ahead if you can field a team and everyone you believe is safe? Do you think it should still go ahead?
Yes, absolutely.
Neil, turning to the game at Ross County tomorrow, obviously there will be some fans inside the stadium tomorrow. What kind of difference do you think that's going to make? It's 300 home fans, obviously.
No, I'm not sure how big a difference it'll be, but at least it's a positive. And, we're disappointed that we haven't had the opportunity to get fans into our stadium, because we've been, at the forefront of everything positive regarding this pandemic in terms of getting the game going again. It's a good sign. It's a sign of progress, and hopefully we'll get our turn sooner rather than later, because it's imperative for us that we get our supporters back into the stadiums.
Yeah, just to pick up on that, how vital do you think? Obviously, it's very difficult because we don't know with the restrictions, but in terms of for Scottish football, how vital is it we try and get them back as soon as possible? Yeah,
I think it's hugely important. Obviously, health and safety comes first. We've always maintained that, but as far as our own sort of home environment is concerned, it's as good as anything around Britain, and it's ready to go. So hopefully, this pilot scheme at the weekend will be successful, and then we can get the green light to, go ahead with our games at home as well.
And in terms of Ross County tomorrow, what are you expecting from them this season?
Well, they've out of the 6 games, they've won 2, drawn 2, lost 2. So I think they're a very stable club. I think they play a really good football at times, and I think going up there, it's a good time to go up there at this stage of the season, because you can get very inclement weather later on in the season. So it's important that we, try and impose ourselves onto the opposition. But as a club, they're very well run as a team. They play good football and can be a threat at the set plays. So we're wary of their threat, and in Stuart, they've got a very good player at this level, and he can be a handful for anyone at any time. They've got Gardyne, who's been a good player for a long, long time. So we know we're going to get tested. But, our mindset now is we've had a very, very good couple of days training where the squad is buoyant, and we're very much looking forward to the game.
Is Odsonne Edouard back again, Neil?
He is, yeah. So he played 20 minutes and 70 minutes for France, and he's trained the last couple of days, so he is available, yes.
A big boost for you in your attacking options.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he's a quality player, so, it's great to have him back.
Duffy goes straight into the squad?
Yeah, Shane will go straight into the squad, yeah. He had 2 games for Ireland. Obviously, he scored in one of them. That was his first couple of games since January, so that will have done him the world of good to get, really good fitness levels and, good quality games under his belt. So he's available to play as well.
Still looking to bring in before the transfer window closes?
Maybe, but if not, I'm very, very happy with the squad that we've got at the minute.
Neil, Tom Rogic looked like he was going to be leaving. Is that now not happening, and if so, why?
Well, a fee was agreed, but Tom, as representatives, feel to agree personal terms with the Qatari clubs. So, as far as I'm aware, that deal's not going to happen now. So, he's back. He's training today. He'll not be available for the squad at the weekend, but he'll be available for Wednesday against St Mirren.
You've spoken of how highly you rate him. Are you, I guess, glad that he's gonna be with you and providing an option for you when he's fit?
Absolutely. I think he's a fantastic player. He's had his disruptions with injuries, and that's the only thing that's kept him out of the team. When he's played under myself, particularly in the second term, in the 90 minutes that he's had on the pitch, he has been absolutely excellent. And looking at his performances and the team's performances when he's played, they've been very positive. So he's had problems with his knee and the ankle problem. Otherwise, he'd be obviously fit and available for the squad, and he'd be heavily involved.
What's the latest with Bolly? Is he back in the squad, or has his future been determined yet?
Not yet. No, he's been heavily sanctioned by the club. As the maximum sanction we could give him. Really, he's not back in training yet, and I think his representatives are looking at options for him elsewhere.
Right. Has there been an offer made for him? Do you know?
Not that I'm aware of yet, Charles.
Neil, just on Bolly there, are you saying that the disciplinary proceedings are complete with regard to his incident from Celtic's point of view?
Yes.
Right, okay. In terms of Shane Duffy, Neil, how important was it for you that you got somebody in your defence that not only proven at international and club level, but a leader?
I think it's a great bit of business by the club. I think when you look at the other opportunities or the competition that we had to get Shane's signature, I think it's a real coup for the club and great for the supporters as well. We've got a player here who understands the ethos of the club, and I think it's important to have those type of players in our dressing room. I think he'll add personality, but also real quality and a physicality as well. So we did want a replacement, for Jozo, and we think we found a very good one in Shane. So, obviously we're delighted to get his services, and he's delighted to be here, and we're excited about, the prospect for him for this season.
I think he was one of maybe 14 players, Neil, that you had on international duty in the last week or so. Can I just check how concerned you may have been with these players that you obviously as a club try to keep in a bubble, but are flying back here, there and everywhere, and you can't keep them in that bubble?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that's out of your control, and obviously you trust the international setups. They're very strict guidelines, but you can see all around Europe that players have contracted the virus, whether it be by going on holiday or through travelling. It's a very contagious virus, and obviously it was a real concern for us. But thankfully, we've had one round of testing this week, and everyone's come through it, players and staff, negatively. So we're absolutely delighted with that.
Do you ramp it up as a club when players come back from international duty in terms of the testing?
Yeah, well, we've had, we've gone back to the way the protocols were when we first came back in. The lads have had to, come in their kit and leave in their kit. And obviously a lot of health and safety protocols around the training ground, which will be relaxed after the weekend again.
In terms of this, your Scottish lads, there was a suggestion that Celtic had written to the SFA because they were going to the Czech Republic. The Czech Republic obviously had their own issues. Can you just clarify what happened there?
Well, I'm not aware of that, Roman.
Okay.
I've had no vindication from Peter on that. There's no evidence of that at all, so I don't know where that's come from.
Okay.
You touched on it there with Rahman, but I just wondered if you would be able to expand that just a little bit. I mean, obviously the St Mirren stuff's obviously dominating the headlines at the moment. In terms of the the hassles and what is involved in terms of strict guidelines to test and protect players and staff. From a manager's point of view, what is involved with all that? Just to kind of explain that to the layperson.
Well, previously when the season was up and running before the international break, the players were in the building, in different, 4 or 5 to each dressing room. Now, for this week, they can't come into the building unless it's for testing or treatment. We have a big indoor area here where we've actually moved the indoor gym down there, for social distancing while they're working. Pack lunches rather than sitting in the canteen. But all these sort of draconian, if you want to call it, measures were important. I think we've been vindicated in doing it, and obviously after the weekend now, we'll go back to the way it was before. But it's still, everything here is a one-way system. The lunch times are staggered. The gym times are staggered. So we're still following all the protocols that are put in place.
It's a difficult job, obviously, being a football manager at the best of times. It must add an extra layer to that.
It is, but I've got a great support staff, whether it be from the support I'm getting from Peter and Adrian Philby and Tim Williamson, our physio, who are, writing up and looking after the guidelines and the health and safety protocols that are in place. Like, there's no guarantees that maybe one of our players eventually will catch this, but we're doing everything we can to try and avoid that as best we can. Yeah,
we heard with the St Mirren situation, obviously, St Mirren goalkeeper is living at this moment in time with the Hamilton player Lee Hodgson. I mean, obviously, once you let your players go back out with the Celtic training complex, I mean, how much of a worry is that in terms of just them looking after themselves?
To be honest with you, as the weeks have gone on, it's become less and less a concern because obviously the players are adhering to everything that we're asking them to do. I think obviously we've had an episode, if you want to call it that, where we've had to miss out on a couple of games. So I think they've been really self-disciplined and I made a lot of sacrifices to make sure that everything's trying to run as seamlessly as we possibly can in very difficult circumstances.
And just finally for me, Neil, I mean, the mood music at the moment in terms of fans getting back into games doesn't look great. Obviously, there's the test events this weekend, but obviously a lot of people thinking about the match against Rangers next month. Would you be surprised if there were fans in at that game?
No, I think, certainly from our point of view and our stadium, I think it's as good as you can get. I watched the NFL game last night, the opening game of the season. It was Kansas City Chiefs. There was 18,000 in their stadium. So I don't understand to a certain degree why, we can't sort of accelerate this when all the protocols and measures have been, checked and checked again by the club.
Will the club be lobbying hard in terms of trying to push that as much as possible to get fans in sooner rather than later then?
Yeah, I think we all will. As far as I'm concerned, I'm the same. It's been permitted for rugby games. I don't understand why it's exclusive to the rugby and not for football.
Neil, I spoke to Rob Wicks yesterday at Aberdeen, and he felt that football is being treated differently. It's being put on a higher standard or pedestal compared to other industries. Has he got a point there? Would you agree with that? Possibly.
Maybe it's because it's so high profile. But, when we were playing in France, Charles, they were letting people into the stadiums there. And I've seen the Ligue 1. They've started with, I think I watched Brest play Marseille, and there was 5,000-6,000 in the stadium. And like I said, the first NFL game of the season last night, 17,000-18,000 in the stadium. We can cater for that, no question.
Bro.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Neil, just clarity in terms of Lee Griffiths, you said when would you expect Lee Griffiths back, did you say?
Well, I'm hoping he'll be in the squad for Wednesday.